Welcome, one and all, to the 4th episode of These Are the Voyages. In this episode, which, as with so many of these episodes, has to be split into 10-minute chunks to keep YouTube happy, we will be looking at the latest cryptic episode, number 4 in the Davidian season. Yes, indeed. Now, it wasn't just the new mission that got added this week. Cryptic also added 4 new daily missions in the Eta Eridani sector block, the Klingon neutral zone. Now, obviously, at this point, I've only got footage on one of them. You can only access one of these missions a day, or at least that's what it looks like, and Drake will only unlock one a day. Now, whether this is random or whether it's on a rotating schedule, we still don't know. But, yeah. I've got footage, but whether I can be bothered to put it up is another matter entirely. There is so much juicy stuff to film on Tribble. Now, here we are back at Drazana, where the lighting is still going blue, and we still have space vampire thingies trying to eat people's brains. Happy place to spend your shore leave. Now, obviously, we're going back in time. Cryptic trialed this, so I thought it would be a good idea to dress for the occasion. This isn't actually required, and as a note to Cryptic, I might actually consider overriding people's costume choices here, and just say, no, you're going back in time, we'll assume you've done your pre-prep, and we'll put you into uniforms for the period. Blizzard do something similar in their Caverns of Time dungeons, where the mainstream races haven't made contact with the Night Elves or the Draenei yet, for example, in the Culling of Stratome, so those races are forcibly shape-changed into humans, just so the locals don't see them and think, ye gods, large blue space goat, kill, kill, kill. It would be interesting, perhaps it would be good from a continuity standpoint, to have a nod to Trials and Tribulations and to have put everybody into a period-appropriate uniform. If only on the excuse that if people see you wandering around a 23rd century starbase in a 25th century uniform, they're likely to stun first and ask questions when you wake up in the brig. Anyway, one time portal. Your science officer tells you that a properly modulated energy discharge blah blah blah. Quick translation, shoot it. Science officers never will use 2 words to get their point across if they can use 20. Anyway, here we are back in the 23rd century. The lighting works. The paint job is intact. Everything is more or less where it's supposed to be, although I wager some of those walls would wobble if you gave them a good shove. And it turns out we need to collect some parts because Federation scanners won't be up to the job of finding Davidians for another 100 years. Now, as you can see, the tricorder actually says where you need to go. It pointed me straight to the door, and I ran right by it. I was looking for something to pick up. I didn't immediately clock that the first puzzle is not finding the components, it's getting out of this room. In fact, it's a fairly straightforward switch puzzle, and this is pretty much your last chance to stop watching this video if you don't want to have to deal with some fairly colossal spoilers. Right, you're still listening. Okay, still listening, still watching, and I'm going to assume that means you had enough time to take advantage of the spoiler warning if you wanted to. So this particular system console is your reset, it's also the status of each bank. One console over here switches banks 1 and 2. The console on the other side of the ground floor switches bank 1 on and off, and the third console is actually directly above us, up on the walkway, and switches consoles 1 and 3, so you can probably guess what has to be done. Basically, you hit each console once. Yeah, that's all it takes. Switch bank 1 to active, switch bank 1 off and bank 2 on at the second console, and then switch bank 1 back on and bank 3 on at the third console. All 3 banks come on, and the computer will properly blue screen and open the door for you, which is a really, really stupid bit of system design, it has to be said. Do you want this thing to fail safe and keep the door shut on the basis that anything that can take a computer out is likely not going to be something you want out of the room? Or are you going to let it fail like this and let whatever sabotage the computer straight out of the room? Anyway, Starfleet clearly went for the second option. On the other hand, this is an improvement over last week's computer malfunction. At least this one just opens the doors for you. Last week's went homicidally insane. Starfleet technology, it marches on. I'm sorry, Dave. We can't stop progress. Anyway, we have a walk-on cameo at this point. Ladies and gentlemen, I give you Lieutenant Myers, the most gullible Starfleet officer of the 23rd century. Yes, level your diplomacy, people. It will save you some business here. Yeah, he's an idiot. How did this guy make lieutenant? For that matter, how did this guy make ensign? I mean, that was total, utter, complete, what's the politest term I can use? Male cow excrement. We just fed him and he swallowed it. Never mind that someone he didn't recognise had just walked out of a completely locked room. Starfleet officers. No wonder so many of them got killed. What was it that polished people off? Giant space carrots in one episode, wasn't it? And just to further prove things, he walks completely past the outlandishly dressed away team, one of whom is toting a Klingon rifle, and then spots that the computer has been effectively sabotaged. It does not occur to him to put A and B together, for which we should probably be grateful. Anyway, we have the 5th member of our team here at last. Mara is just transporting in. That's a note. I mean, maybe it was just technical difficulties. She was hung up in Eta Eridani for quite a while, but yeah. Perhaps we ought to have an option to just summon team member to my location. Maybe it'll need some kind of restriction, but WoW can do it, the Warlock class can do it. It's actually their unique selling point, or one of several, that they can create summon stones and bring party members to the party without having to drag them halfway across the game world. It is a most excellent time saver, of that you may be assured. Anyway, the first part we need is up the ramp and through this doorway to the left. I love this architecture. It's so nice to have a change, so nice to have a bit of colour as opposed to the usual rust theme that we get. Hands up who wants to see these in retrofit bridges, even if it would necessarily mean paying for them. Anyway, we have a Durotronic relay. I just hope nobody tries to use that console in the next few days or it's not going to work. And with that, we will move on to part 2.